Here we have a 2020 Mitsubishi Mirage Hatchback. And this one comes in the LED trim level on the beautiful sapphire blue metallic. Then we have black cloth interior. And the powertrain consists of a 1.2 liter naturally aspirated inline 3 engine, made it to a CVT. And as we get to the front end here, we have all halogen lights, but we have our headlamps and our fog lights there. And down here we have 15-inch aluminum wheels, which actually look pretty good. And here we have the controls for our power windows, power door locks, power mirror controls there. And there's our driver's seat. Then we can adjust the seat bottom here and everything else back of the seat, and then pull up here to move the seat back and forth. So I'm 6'3", and that's my legroom there, but I have the seat in front of me as far back as it'll go. So not bad for such a small vehicle. But now onto the back. And it's actually easier to get in and out of than I would have expected. I've had tougher times in bigger cars, so. And there is our cargo space there. And then you can fold the seat down by just pulling up here. And then when the seat's up far enough, it'll fold flat, which I think is pretty neat. And there's our front passenger seat there. And now we'll just take a quick look under the hood. And there's that 3-cylinder engine there. Let's hop in the driver's seat. So I really like the leather wrap steering wheel and the overall look of it. It's huge in comparison to the vehicle, but I like it quite a bit. But over here to our infotainment system here, this is our home page, and then with radio we have AM and FM. And then we also have a CD player. And then we have Bluetooth audio, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto. And then we have single zone automatic climate controls here. And there's our backup camera. And down here we have 2-stage heated seat controls for the driver and front passenger. And then we have a USB input to run either that Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. And our shifter here, we just hit the brake, pull down, reverse, neutral, drive, and then we can put it in the low mode there. Here's our e-brake. We have a cup holder there, in addition to the 2 up front. And there's a view of the back seat from up here. And there's our glove compartment, and this one still has the owner's manuals in here. And then we have our voice command controls here. We can toggle our volume here, and then our presets here for the radio. And then we have our cruise controls here. There's the gauge cluster. Then we have our headlamp controls, turn signals, and then we have our windshield wiper controls over here. We'll just take a quick look at the views you can have here. So pretty much everything you would need. And then there's our key here, and I'll take that out to show you. There's the fob, lock, unlock, and then a panic button. And then it is turnkey. But next we're gonna go ahead and take this 2020 Mitsubishi Mirage Hatchback LE out on the road for a quick test drive. So what these cars are basically made for is if you don't want to spend, I should say, if you want to spend the least amount of money possible on a vehicle, this is what you go with. And that's basically what we have here. And I mean, you can get this even in this market. This is a 2020. It's got 14,000 miles on it. I think they're asking less than 15 grand for this car. And really, what these are best for are for those who want to spend the least amount of money possible on a car, the least amount of money possible on gas, but then you still have your Bluetooth, your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. So if you're wanting to drive this to and from an in-city commute, it'd be good for that. But I will say that these are made cheaply. But of course, that's to keep the cost down. So I mean, the ride is nothing great. I'd say the one great thing is the fuel economy. But I'm 6'3" and my legs are spread out because I can't fit them underneath the steering wheel. And just how the seat's set up, it's not worth it in my opinion. But if you're average sized person, probably like 5 to 6 feet tall, you can make it work. I mean, I could make it work. It's just my body would not be appreciative of that in the long run, just being such a large person. And like I said, it is a very small vehicle, but it's pretty easy to drive as you'd expect. This is just harder for me because, like I said, I'm such a large person, so the seat in comparison, not big enough for me. The pedals, I feel like I could break them. And just the overall seating position is not the best for me because I still have to lean the seat back to make sure that my head fits without hitting the roof. But I'm gonna try and put it in the sport mode. We're gonna see how it does getting on the interstate. And I'm pretty much gonna give it all it's got. So here we go. I will say that is one of the most interesting acceleration tests I've had. And I mean, this thing really was giving it all it had, but it wasn't going anywhere. So, I mean, it's not... It gets the job done. But if you need to bust a move in traffic or accelerate or whatever, it's going to be extremely difficult to do so safely. Because when you put your foot to the floor, it does very little. Now, I've driven slower cars, I've had slower cars, but for 2020, it's just, It's alright. That's really the only way to put it. It's really not that. It's not good, but for what it is, it's alright. But like I said before, if you're trying to get something cheap that's going to be fairly easy to fix, I would expect, and something that's going to get good gas mileage just driving around town, or if you like to do 5 under on the interstate in the right lane, this is good for that. But don't expect it to be comfortable. It's nice that it has heated seats in it, but that really doesn't do much for you in terms of how comfortable the seat is itself. And of course, cruise control is a nice feature to have. But, I mean, there are other options out there. Are those options going to be in your budget? That's up to you. But you have a 1.2 liter naturally aspirated 3-cylinder inline. So, and that being paired with the CVT, I'd just rather have a smaller displacement 4-cylinder with a turbo, like the 1.5s and the Equinoxes and the Malibus. But with that being said, this is going to bring me to the end of my review of the 2020 Mitsubishi Mirage Hatchback Limited Edition.